Hey everyone. Just setting up Instagram over here. As per the usual. Hello, 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 and welcome. Oh, so good to be here. Just soaking this in for a minute. Really being here in the present with you guys. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Rachel Leah Gerson. I am the creatrix and metaphysical practitioner at Doorway to Self, where I combine counseling techniques with psychic tools to help people understand mental health and wellness from a different perspective, different lens. And so I do these every month, once a month, to bring forth psychic education, helping to destigmatize the psychic world so that people can understand that this is innately a human thing. It's a human thing to be psychic and to have psychic experiences. Because we're all energy, and as energy, as vibrating molecules, this is science, as vibrating molecules, we are energy, and that means that we interact energetically. That's just kind of the way things work. So, welcome on. I'm going to go over the rules here in a minute. I'm seeing a couple people pop on here on both platforms. If you see me kind of looking between screens, it's because I am. I've got Instagram over here, Facebook over here. So, welcome, whichever platform you are here on. Alrighty. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with some anonymous questions that came in. And the way that this kind of works is that I answer questions in succession. So whomever asks a question, it'll be first come, first serve. I know that Facebook has been a little bit glitchy with the live comments lately. So if I do not see your question, I deeply apologize for that. And I will get to it next month if we run out of time or whatever. And or I'll make a separate video about it. So that's how this is gonna work. All right, let's see. I'm going to start with these anonymous questions. If you ever have anonymous questions that you would like to ask, you are welcome to do that, but I will not get to them until next month. I close the window for anonymous questions to come in the hour before we begin. So, let's see here. Hold on a second. I lost my tab that has the anonymous questions on it, so I'm going to have to do this piecemeal here a little bit this time. Okay. Let's see. Alrighty. All right. So the first question asked anonymously is, I'm interested in these numerology posts, but have a question maybe for your next live. How do these portals work, given that months, dates, and years are societal constructs and not real time? So this is a fantastic question. It's something that has been asked of me in the past, but not something that I have answered on a Q&A before. So I'm excited to answer this here. Basically, it's about the vibration of the numbers. So while, yes, our dates from our Roman calendar that we follow, here in the States, based on that, yes, it is a human construct. However, the way that the numbers are vibrating together because they are brought forth, that vibration is innately inherent within the day or cycle that we are entering. So I'm feeling a little bit inarticulate today, guys, so bear with me. I went really deep into meditation before this. I feel like I did this last month too, and I should learn not to do that anymore. Because I feel like even though I took the time to ground myself after plenty of time, I gave myself a good 45 minutes today afterwards. It still is like, So I'm like collecting myself here. Yeah, so basically we as humans are putting these numbers together. So we can do this on a daily basis anyways, right? So if you think about it, numbers are truly kind of a human constructed thing as well. They're universally conceptualized, right? So the universe has created quantities, but we as humans have turned them into numbers. So it already is kind of a human concept. It's just that the vibrations that are associated with those numbers, because the universe created it, that is what allows for numerology and these portal days that are numerological portal days to work. Something that I've stated in the past on a Q&A before as well is that while I make posts about numerological portal days specifically, any astrological event is also a portal, as well as, so is your birthday, so is, anything that we intentionally create, space that we create. So when we step into ritual or we become ceremony or whatever it is that we're doing, walking into meditation, all of those things are portals as well. So this is specifically speaking to numerological portals. And we also have to remember too that we are creating in tandem with the universe. So the universe knew, like the universe already wrote that we as humans were going to create this calendar. It already knew that we were going to be invoking these energies at these times on these days. And so basically they're just here for us to access, and you can choose to access that how you wish. So I hope that's helpful for this person. Let's see. I've got some comments coming in here from Angie. Hi, Angie. Thanks for being here. I loved your episode on addiction on the podcast. Yay! I'm so glad you listened. Thank you so much. I'm glad you brought that up too. I want to just put this out there that I am likely going to be taking all episodes down here shortly to try and circumvent all of the crap that's been going on with Apple. I don't know why iTunes has not been playing my episodes. Those of you who have been listening and following along, there's just been a lot of glitching out for the last basically since 3 weeks after I started putting these out there. So I just want to let you guys know that. But yeah, if you haven't checked out that episode on the energy of addiction, please do. I appreciate you saying that, Angie. Thank you so much. Would love to hear about the concept of numerology as it, yep, you already got that. Yep. Oh, good. I'm glad that makes sense to you. Awesome. Okay, cool. So I'm seeing more people popping on right now. So good to see you guys. If you've never been here before, basically you are welcome to I'll answer. Ask any questions at any point in time about anything to do with the metaphysical world. So whether that's about psychic abilities, numerology, astrology, the list kind of goes on. Feel free to pop it into the comment box, whether you're on Instagram or Facebook, and I will get to it as soon as it comes up in the next order. I'll also be reading interspersed questions from people who have asked questions anonymously as well, which is something that you have the opportunity to do up to an hour before we begin. So if that window is now closed, but yeah. All right, let's see. I listened on Stitcher and previously on Podbean, if that helps. Yeah, good. I'm glad to hear Stitcher's working. I haven't been able to figure that out either, so I'm glad that that is working for you. Podbean has been iffy, whether people are using Google Chrome or Safari to listen to it. So that's something else I found, is that Safari isn't working, but but it is on Chrome, so I don't know why. Deleted Podbean because it was super glitchy. Stitcher is better. Yeah, totally. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Hi, Brianna Rebecca. So glad you're here. Thank you for being here. Good to see your name. Welcome. All right, I'm going to jump on to the next anonymous question here, since I'm not seeing anything else coming in. My voice is slightly scratchy today because my allergies are just out of control right now. So if you're hearing that, that's why. All right. Oh, okay. So this was a really cool and interesting question. I loved this. Decades ago, I spoke in tongues, glossolalia, but have gotten away from this practice. Is this something I can do in praying for healing for human rights? I absolutely love this. So, um, a few of you have reached out to me since yesterday's live sound healing. If you missed it, it is up on YouTube. So go to Doorway to Self on YouTube. It should be the very first video that pops up because it's the newest. But yesterday I did a live sound healing to help eradicate systemic oppression and racism and etc. And to integrate human rights codes, equality, equity codes into our human society. So, if that's something you're interested in checking out, by all means, go check that out there. It's also on IGTV if you're on Instagram, and it is also on um, Facebook on the Doorway to Self page as well. So you can check that out if you haven't already yet. And this is something that, when I wrote the description for this, as with any sound healing that I do, I really encourage you to sing along with it or speak along with it or move along with it, because then you're helping to enhance the coding that's going on as well. And so, you can do that. But I love what this person is asking, because it insinuates that they're wanting to do this work on their own aside from that sound healing, which is amazing. And I want to encourage any and all of you to do that as well. Any work that we can do energetically right now. I've seen a lot of people posting about, I want to help right now with this dynamic that's going on, and I don't know how, and I don't feel safe going to rallies and protests because either I'm afraid of the violence that might break out, or I disagree with some of the energy that's there, or I'm very empathically sensitive and I'm afraid of, taking on those energies if I don't know how to properly filter them through my system. And so, this is a great way. Obviously, educating yourself is extremely important, and that's something you can do to help out. And sharing, helping to educate others once you've been educated is extremely important. Donating to funds that are helping these communities in need, Black communities in need, people of color communities in need. I donated all the proceeds from yesterday's live to the Black Mental Health Alliance. So if you guys want to support that, by all means, please go support them. They're amazing. Or any other Black org. I want to encourage you to do that. But also, since we're talking metaphysics here, if you are someone who doesn't have the funds to donate right now, or you aren't feeling educated enough to help educate other people, or you're feeling overwhelmed in your educational process at the moment, you can do the work energetically. You can do the work, as you're educating yourself piecemeal, you can start to do the shadow work on yourself to see where these systems are built in you. And you can also do the work energetically to put stuff out there to help eradicate this nastiness that is just sticking and clinging to our societal roots. And so this is work that you can do. So I just wanted to address that first. As far as speaking in tongues, so this has some connotation to it. So I just want to say, for people who might be religious watching this, when it's referred to as glossolalia, as this person referred to it as, glossolalia is essentially, it's light language. It's another name for light language. So this is not like the words of the devil or whatever. This is a channeling of, and it's actually in Christian etymology. Glossolalia is associated with the channeling of the words of God, essentially. So If you're someone who uses more universe language, channeling the universe, then you might want to connect more to this idea of light language. They're the same thing. Um, but basically, it is a combination of um, languages from all around the world, so and all around the universe, really. So any language that has ever been invoked into being will have stems and roots in light language, and so you're basically just like channeling sounds that sound like words, or perhaps even are words in some cases. And so yeah, yes, absolutely, you can absolutely do that. It's all about the intention behind it. So the way that you would know if it's more of that like actual light language versus something kind of dark and foreboding, it's just by the way it feels. Know how you feel. Know, make sure that you're a clear vessel. Make sure that you have done energy clearing on yourself. Make sure that your intentions behind what you're going to say and do and embark on are positive. Are And I don't mean positive as in like spiritual bypassy positive. I mean like as in just like well intentioned and connected to the light, and maybe even setting an intention beforehand of saying, I work for the light, I serve the light, only light language can come through me, or something like that. So yeah, great question. All right, I'm seeing some other questions come in on the comments, so I'm gonna go to these now, and then I'll head back to the anonymous ones in a minute. All right. Hey, Kelly, thanks for being here. I keep seeing repeating animal symbols or in nature, like snakes, bees, owls, things like that. Could this be spirit guidance? 100%. Great question. Yeah, nature is our biggest reflection. It's our biggest mirror. It's our biggest teacher. And so if we can get out and something that's so superbly valuable that I worked with my mentor last year. I was on a retreat with her, and um, we had this insane experience at the top of a mountain. It's not going to sound insane, and it didn't feel insane with me until what happened after. But and I'll get there. But we saw this insane experience of a wasp that had grabbed hold of a spider, and it was dragging it up a wall. And on this structure that was at the top of the mountain. And I was like, whoa, that's weird. And we watched it for about 5 seconds, and then I went to turn around and move on to something else. And what she said to me was, okay, this is one of the biggest mistakes that people make. You have to stick with it. Stick with it and watch. Watch what happens. Just watch. I think that's something that we get caught up in our current society, is this go 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 mode of like, oh, okay, we saw it, we're good, we're done, right? And instead of sticking with something and staying with it and seeing where it leads, and allowing for that kind of like sticky taffy flow to happen, where we can like really follow the energy of something, instead of just like tapping in, tapping out, tapping in, tapping out. And so she had me turn around and continue watching, and it was this whole dance that happened. And I soon realized the spider was still alive, and it was wriggling, and it was trying to escape, and the wasp was bringing it all up and down, and it was so incredible. And in the end, the spider finally actually escaped and got away. And to watch that whole process was, I don't even have the words for it, which is something like, it's strange to talk about something like that. Like, oh yeah, I watched a wasp carry a bee and it changed my life, or excuse me, I watched a wasp carry a spider and it changed my life. You know, but it truly did. And so we can have those moments with nature, with a fallen tree, with a bee, with a raccoon, with, whatever it is that is in our midst, in our path. And I want to encourage you to stick with it, to watch it, to know it, to feel it, and to stay there with it. Obviously, if the situation's safe, if you're with an angry mama bear, you're gonna get the hell out. I'm not saying to like be there in that moment, but like, if it's safe for you to be there, um, definitely, I would say stay as long as you possibly can, or as long as it feels good to you, to observe what's happening in the nature of that moment. Um, so yeah, definitely. And then going within and asking yourself, what does this mean to me? You know, a lot of what I was going through at that point in my life was um understanding flow a little bit more, understanding divine masculine versus toxic masculine energies, understanding um I mean, there was a whole lot, and I got a lot of answers about all of those things just watching that process. So go within, see where it connects with you, see where it hits you, and see where, what answers might come up from that. Hope that helps you, Kelly. Oh, and one more thing I want to say about that. I've already said this a gajillion times before, but I want to say it again. Don't Google things right away. Because that's the instinct, is for people to, oh, I saw a fox. What does Google say about it? What's the metaphysical meaning of fox? And no, just like stick with it, watch it, sit with it, within, maybe journal about it, or do a voice memo about it, or talk to somebody about it. See what comes up for you in that experience for you. And then later, once you have your own answers, you're welcome to Google it, okay, and see if you get some affirmations, maybe, or see if you get some extra insight or something like that. But go at it from your own process first. Okay. Rebecca says, I had a really horrible night, woke up depressed but angry. I'm tired of feeling this. What would you advise to help break through the ego, negative thoughts? I've been trying meditating, writing out my feelings, but I'm still stuck. Yeah, I hear you. Rebecca, I hear you. I feel you. I feel for you right now. That's a big theme right now, collectively, as we are all feeling the pain and the grief that is rising up right now, to be cleared, to be felt, and then to be cleared, um, and transmuted. Um, so the first thing I'm going to say is, there is so much stigma around mental illness. There's so much stigma around depression, in specific, with this question. Um, and because of that stigma, a lot of what we're taught, unfortunately, is you shouldn't be feeling depressed. You can't feel depressed. It's bad to feel depressed, blah, blah. So the first thing I'm going to urge you to do is to accept your depression. Now, I know that sounds maybe counterintuitive and strange, but if you take a moment to just acknowledge, like, I'm feeling depressed right now, maybe even, I have a therapist friend who says to put your hand over your heart, and or somewhere on your body, just so that you can bring it into your body, and say, I am feeling depressed right now, or I am feeling angry right now, or something like that. Just something to feel that in your body, acknowledge it, embrace it. So that's the first thing I would suggest. Um, and same thing with the anger, right? So, because we're also told societally you shouldn't be feeling angry. That's totally invalid. You should absolutely be feeling it. And right now, it's 100% valid to be feeling angry. Um, I've been feeling very angry as well about a lot of the stuff that's been coming up. So, um, it's okay to feel anger, at any point in time, especially right now. Um, so just giving yourself the space to feel those things. Um, so that's the first thing I would say. The second thing I would say is to ask yourself what you need, right? So, um, you said that you've been trying meditating, you've tried writing out your feelings. Those are both fantastic options. They're also both options that are talked about widely, which is great that people are educating other folks that that's something that can happen to help them. But it also might not be what you need for you. And so taking a moment to, as you're saying, as you're acknowledging your feelings, I'm feeling depressed, I'm feeling angry, what do I need right now? And taking a moment to listen, what do I need right now for myself? And the answer might be really, really absurd. Okay, I'm just warning you on that. The answer might be very strange. It might be something you never thought that you would need, but go with it and listen to it, as long as it sounds like your voice. If it doesn't sound or feel like you, don't listen to it. But if it sounds and feels like you and your voice and what you deeply need from the bottom of your heart, from the center of your body, do that thing. Um, so, um, let's see what else. In terms of this idea of breaking through the ego, our ego is necessary, and this is a concept in the spiritual world that is very complex and honestly annoys me sometimes, because a lot of the spiritual community has decided that the ego is a bad thing. The ego is not a bad thing. It's a part of us as humans. Like, it is a human thing to have ego. That's how we survive. That's how we stay alive. That's how we stay protected and fed and rested and etc. It's more about power tripping in the ego that might be not so great, or becoming attached within the ego that's unhealthy. And so allowing yourself to have those ego experiences, but then, acknowledging, okay, this is an ego experience. Is there a way for me to move to a higher place from this? Is there a way for me to stay in my humanity whilst also acknowledging the higher versions of this? Trying to think of a good example to give you here. Okay, all right, actually using your depression. So I don't know if this is specifically an experience that you're having, but it's easy to stay stuck in a depression because our ego can say, "Oh, like you need to feel this to survive," right? And so knowing when to keep that in check, knowing to say to your ego, "Okay, I'm acknowledging that I'm feeling this depression. I'm acknowledging that this is a part of me right now. I'm also acknowledging that it's not something I necessarily need to experience long term in order to survive. How can I come home to myself? How can I come back to myself?" And that's the last portion of this, right? Because depression, from my personal opinion and the research that I've done working with clients, and in my studies, is that when we experience depression, it's because there is some sort of disconnect from our soul. There is some sort of disconnect from our personal soul essence energy. I did a podcast episode on this. Maybe two actually. The psychic theory of mental illness. It was the very first podcast episode. So if you want to check that out, it's the Doorway to Self podcast. There is a lot of information in there for you, that you can check out, in terms of exactly that. So I hope that's helpful for you. Also, in past Q&As, I've talked a lot about the energy of depression too. So you can check that out on YouTube. You can look through past Q&As, and what I do is I go through the whole video and write out timestamps with all of the questions asked, so you can see all of the past questions that have ever been asked and go directly to the timestamp, and click the question to get the answer. All right, let's see. I hope that's helpful for you, Rebecca. Please let me know if there's anything else I can answer for you. All right, I'm going to go back to the anonymous questions here. So happy to see all of you on. I just saw Gada's on, Shannon. Let's see who else. Cannon. So good to see you guys. All right. Let's see. So if you've just come on, just so you guys know, if you don't already know the rules, you can pop questions into the comment box, whether you're on Instagram or Facebook at any point in time. Anything to do with metaphysics. So this is an educational session, so anything you have to ask about anything to do with that, you're welcome to ask it. I answer the questions in order, and then I also flip back and forth with anonymous questions that I've received beforehand. If you'd like to ask a question, not completely anonymously, because I'll still know who you are, but privately to me, you're welcome to do that, but the window for that has closed. It closes an hour before the Q&A begins. So you're welcome still to send me a question privately in direct messenger on Instagram, private messenger on Facebook, or to doorwaytoself@gmail.com at any point during the month, and I will answer it in the next Q&A. Okay, so the next anonymous question we have is there anything wrong? I love this so much. Is there anything wrong with not being an empath? I'm feeling guilty for not actually feeling the pain of others in this time of trauma. Ooh, this is good. This is really good. Firstly, to this person, thank you so much for your sensitivity during this time. The fact that you are wanting to feel the pain of this is, albeit a little bit masochistic, also coming obviously from this incredibly vibrant place of just wanting to do something, wanting to do something to help. Here's what I'm going to say about this. I have a lot to say about this, as per the usual. Numerology 3 over here, guys. I'm going to talk a lot. That's how it works. Yeah, Cannon says, wow, what a good question. Yeah, for sure. So, okay, so the first thing I'm going to say about this is a little bit more surface level. So, psychic abilities are fluid, meaning that we can gain new psychic abilities or lose touch with psychic abilities over time. So if you really truly want to gain clear empathy to become an empath, and you put that intention out there, and it is in your highest good and it is in the highest good of others, it will happen. You will receive that ability. It might knock you over the head. It might knock you off your feet. You will receive that ability. You might also get it super subtly and not even know that it's there necessarily. And that might even honestly be worse, because then you wouldn't know that you're feeling somebody else's stuff, which is what happens to a lot of people. They're more subtle empaths, as I like to call it, or they're extremely emotive, as is. They're very emotional beings. And so to like experience, this is my story, actually being an extremely emotional, sensitive being and taking on the emotions of other people not knowing that I was doing that, because I was feeling my own stuff so strongly. I didn't realize other people's things were also like magnifying it. So that, yeah, all of that's entirely possible. So I just want to assure you, if you're really, really feeling like I need to be an empath right now and it is in my highest good and blah, 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 set the intention, ask for it. Ask for it, and if it is actually in your highest good, you will receive it, either all at once really quickly or very subtly. So what I'm going to caution you about is make sure that if you are asking for this, that you are prepared for it, in the way of making sure you are checking yourself on a consistent basis. Because if you're asking for it and it is in your highest good and it comes in and you're not checking yourself, you might all of a sudden be this extremely emotional person, or you might be experiencing the emotions of other people without really knowing that that's what you're doing, and it could be a mess. So if you're going to ask for it, check yourself consistently. Okay, I'm feeling angry right now. Is this anger mine? Okay, all right, cool. This is my anger. I guess I'm not doing that empath thing yet. Okay, I'm feeling sadness. Is this sadness mine? Oh, okay. Well, here, this is a two-pronged question though, because the thing is we can't just check, is this mine? Oh, okay, it's mine. We're good. No, because the thing is it can be yours and someone else's simultaneously. So we need to ask this question two-pronged. One, is this mine? Two, is this only mine? Right? I'm feeling anger. Is this anger mine? Yes. Okay. I'm feeling anger. Is this anger only mine? No. Whoo! Okay. I am going to keep only my anger. Thank you. I will release whatever anger is not mine and allow whomever else's anger this is to go back to them if that's in their highest good, or if they need to continue to release it, that they release it into the earth, or that they release it into source, so that it can go somewhere else and be experienced in a different way. So there's that. As far as feeling this guilt, my plant is wanting to say hi. That's what's making noise right now. As far as feeling guilt for not feeling the collective emotions right now, there's a lot to unpack there. I'm trying to figure out where to start with this. Firstly, the fact that you are feeling that shows, and I think I already stated this, that you are an incredibly sensitive individual who's wanting to do something about it. I answered a question earlier on about what you can do to help right now. So please go back after I post this video and make sure to listen to that, because anything you can do to help right now, you don't have to take on the emotions and pain of the collective or of other individuals right now just to help, because it might honestly not even be helpful. Like, if you're down and out because you're a new empath and you don't know how to filter through all of this stuff, then you won't be able to be up and about educating yourself, educating others, gaining funds to give to organizations who are in need, spreading awareness, whatever it is that you have potentially have the energy to do right now. And I know this person who asked this anonymously. I know I'm going to talk to this person directly for a second. I know you have the energy to do that right now because you've been doing it. And so I feel like, honestly, this question feels to me more like, I feel guilty, like I'm not doing enough, and not so much about I feel guilty that I'm not an empath, or I feel guilty that I'm not feeling these emotions. I do feel like that's part of it, but a lot of what I'm getting is that it is about this guilt of not doing enough, which is pervasive right now. It is, I think a lot of white people, speaking as a white person here, a lot of white people are racked with white guilt right now. I'm not a person of color, so I'm not experiencing this as a person of color, but I am experiencing this as a white person who's feeling the grief, or who is seeing the grief, and how do I do something about this? How do I do something about this? Whether it's from this place of I feel guilty because I'm white and I'm not experiencing, and I've never experienced what people of color have experienced, or if it's coming from a place of I'm feeling guilty because I'm white and my ancestors helped to perpetuate everything that's going on, or if it's I'm feeling guilty because of both of these things, both and, right? So I want to encourage you to do the shadow work around that. What is the white guilt that you're feeling right now? Why are you feeling, or what is the motivation that you're feeling right now, or both of those things, right? What with this motivation, what can you do with it? What can you do with this motivation to help and to serve? And would, in fact, being an empath, feeling everything, actually be something that would help you to do that? Or are you just wanting to feel it because you feel guilty? Or because you feel left out? And this is this last multifaceted layer that I want to speak to at this point in time, is this idea of a lot of people are waking up as empaths right now. That's just what's happening. We have a lot of collective feeling going on. And even more were awakened when this pandemic started. Even more were awakened when everything with George Floyd happened, and since then. And even before that, before March, even before this pandemic became a thing in the U.S., I think that being an empath was kind of like the popular thing to be, right? Um, it was something that, you know, people were using to get attention or bragging about, or, and I'm not saying this is every empath ever. I'm not saying that. Please do not take it that way. Or something that a lot of people were generally needing a lot of help with, help on. It's something that has brought a lot of people together. It's a way that a lot of people have discovered spirituality, discovered metaphysics, discovered communities that are ingrained in this knowledge. A lot of empath communities have been created, and so if this is about also feeling left out or feeling like maybe you're not as spiritual or you're not as important or you're not as gifted or you're not as powerful or do some shadow work around that too, right? Can you find and the thing is this person who asked this question is extremely psychic, like extremely psychic, um medium, clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient. So it's like, you know, we all are going to experience energy in the psychic world in different ways, and one way is not better or more powerful than another way. And in fact, you know, there are several people out there who are empaths who do have clairempathy, who, you know, maybe that's not their strongest ability, or maybe it debilitates them, which is a huge story, right? That being an empath can be extremely debilitating if you don't know how to work with it properly. And so, you know, maybe they're extremely clairvoyant, maybe they have psychic sight out the, you know, over the rainbow, but you know, they can't access it because they're so debilitated and crippled from the empath experiences that they have. So I'm just trying to keep everything in perspective here. No one ability is more powerful or more necessary than another. And in fact, you know, using your clairaudience during this time could be incredibly powerful. I've had a lot of experiences of like hearing ancestors of this land talking to me, and not like natives, but like ancestors who have walked on this land. Black ancestors, white ancestors. I've heard historical conversations that have happened in the US over the last few weeks as I've been filtering out some of this stuff, as I've been helping to integrate and rework these racially um, horrible energies that are integrated into our system, as I've been helping to move and shift those into a positive, healthy, invigorating environment. I have been getting a lot of messages clairaudiently, and so that's something you can listen to as well, and not only hearing these historical conversations and helping those to move through in a way, but also hearing you know, conversations of people in pain, or hearing conversations of people finding their healing right now, or hearing messages for how to continue to help move people through, hearing light language, hearing sound, hearing frequencies. You know, so all of those things are helpful. Same thing with this clairvoyance. If people with clairvoyance are able to envision a society where we're all able to acknowledge each other's differences and acknowledge the importance in our differences and acknowledge the equity that needs to be included in our societal demographic, how powerful is that? Because that's manifestation. You know, we have our empaths here, myself included, we have our empaths here who are feeling the collective grief, who are feeling this collective energy to help the collective move through it, right? We also have people, again, myself included, who are able to envision the future, who are able to envision the future now, so that we can bring it here now, so that we can make this a thing now. And so maybe ask yourself if you can tap into some of that stuff, and that's something you can do. That's something you can do to help. So I know that was really long-winded, a long-winded answer, but it was a very multifaceted question, and I'm so grateful to the person who asked this because it's beautiful. and extremely relevant. All right. All right, what's up, Melissa? Hey. Yes, that's me too. How do I live in this world? It's overwhelming me. A lot of people overwhelmed right now. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Yeah. You're definitely not alone in that. I feel like I've been bringing this back to me a lot today. I'm not meaning to do that as like making it about me. I'm meaning to do that just to help relate to you. Um, yeah, overwhelm is huge right now, and so I feel like a lot of people are doing this dance between wanting to do everything they possibly can to help, and then also wanting to flee from the overwhelm. And it's all about balance. It's all about balance because you can't give from an empty cup, right? So make sure that whatever you're doing to help, you're also taking the time away for yourself. Whatever rest you need, if you need a day or six off of social media, do it. If you need to go in the other room when people who are living, if you're living with other people who watch the news, if you're needing to go into the other room, if you are needing to take 6 walks a day right now, if you are needing to meditate for, 3 hours instead of 15 minutes, these are all things that you can do, and actually by doing those things, by taking care of yourself, you are helping. um I need all the time off of social media. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, it's a lot right now. It's a lot right now. um yeah. Shannon says that she really needed to hear this, so thanks for saying what you said, Melissa. Um, yeah, do what you need to do for you to take care of yourself right now, because there is a lot going on, and if you're not taken care of, um, it's completely pointless. You're just going to be a tired, overwhelmed wreck trying to help what's already a tired, overwhelmed wreck, right? Um, we need to come in, when we're going to be in these helping roles. We need to come in with energy, and we need to come in with our energy, not to give our energy, but to be connected within in our energy, so then we can then connect to light source. We can then connect to the higher vibrations of the collective to help raise the collective to those vibrations. Morgan says, I feel like when I was at the protest, when I mentioned during the Zoom call history of the this is somebody from our door openers group, which I'm going to mention here in a second, but she's choosing to disclose that she's a member. I mentioned during the Zoom call history of the US with the community was connecting to my visual empath sense. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And so, yes, yeah, so psychic abilities can come in tandem as well. And so what Morgan's speaking to right now is this idea that she was having a clear empathic experience where she was experiencing the collective emotions, the collective grief, the collective pain, the collective distrust, distraughtness. I don't think that's a word, but you know what I'm saying. The point is, she was experiencing all of this, and then also at the same time seeing full visuals of the entire U.S. history, much like what I was explaining about hearing these clairaudient conversations. So you can experience two things at the same time, having that sight and that feeling, or having that sight and that sound, or having smell, and whatever. I've been getting a lot of smells lately. But you can have more, you can have multiple, and not just two. Like, you could have sight, sound, and smell at the same time. You could have, I mean, anything can happen. The point is that the universe is working with you and through you, so that you are able to experience the energy of this in whatever ways you are needing to, in whatever ways are for your highest good and the highest good of others, even if they're extremely painful. And then it's just about what you do with it. um all right, I'm seeing something from Nicolee. I love that name, Nicolee. Hello, hope all is well with you. Any career guidance? Um, okay, so I feel like this is a personal psychic question. So what I'm going to answer this, but in a very strange roundabout way. So because I feel like it's pervasive right now and it's something that needs to be talked about. So just so you know, Nicolee, I think you're new. Maybe I've never seen your name before, so that's cool. Thank you for being here. This is not a psychic reading. It is an educational session. So what I'm doing is helping to educate people on psychic energies and how they work. So in terms of career right now, I feel like this is a huge thing that's coming up societally with the pandemic, with a lot of people losing their jobs, um, with a lot of fear about not being financially secure, not being financially stable. Um, a lot of fear is rising right now. A lot of fear is rising right now for the collective in many different facets for many different reasons. What's being asked of us right now as individuals is to listen, and specifically to listen within and without. This isn't about, and I know this is going to sound backwards if you're in a position where you're freaking out financially right now. So just try to hear me out. Just try to hear me out. Okay? Um, Listen to what it is that you need to do, and the money will come. This is not about applying to jobs just for the sake of applying to jobs. This is not about getting a job as fast as possible because you need the money. We have come into a place in our society where we are taught that in order to have money, you have to have a job. And that maybe that means being in a job that you despise or you disagree with. And that's not the case anymore. Through this pandemic, we are now coming into a time where we can do what we are meant to do, where we can live purpose, and the money is going to come. Not necessarily from living that purpose. Like, not. So, what I'm saying is, like, for instance, I have a friend who's a practitioner who is I hope she doesn't mind telling this story, me telling this story. I'm going to be keep her anonymous for this, but she was talking to me about how she really needed some time to do some inner work, some reflection, and she felt like it was unethical at that time to really be working with more than one client, or more than a couple clients. And so, but she was like, okay, but I don't know where the money's going to come from. And she heard this, like, you're going to be taken care of, or felt I'm going to be taken care of. And so she went off and she started doing her work on herself. And the more she was working on herself, the more things were coming in, right? So, like, somebody randomly wanted to do some collaboration with her, and she made, and it was like a one-time thing for an hour, and she started making money off of that. She decided to go travel and had somebody sublet her apartment, which gave her a bunch of income. She got a check from the government. She got some random rebate check for some random thing. And like, all of this money was randomly coming in. And the point is that if you're doing your work, if you're doing what you need to be doing for yourself, if in order to stay in alignment with purpose and with your road that you are walking, that you are meant to walk in this lifetime, the money is going to come. The money is going to flow. And I've watched this happen for myself time and time again. I have watched this happen for my clients time and time again. Oh, I can't afford working with you. I can't afford a session. Boom, money's there. If they need it, the money is there. So I hope that that's helpful to you, Nicolee. You are, yay. Cool. Awesome. Good. So I hope that that's helpful to you, and to anybody else who's needing to hear that message right now. It's important that we don't get trapped in the paradigm of old toxic structures, and that we understand that money is a metaphysical energy. It is it's energy in and of itself. Otherwise, it's just a piece of paper. It's the energy that we put behind it that is what is what what allows it to come to us. And we can do that through toxic means, or we can do that through divine enlightened means. And our society, or not our society, the energies happening right now are asking that that's what happens. All right, awesome. Oh, good. I'm so glad that was helpful to you. Awesome. Okay, I am going to go ahead and just tell you guys a little bit of information right now. So I already talked about BMHA. That is the organization that I have been backing the last week or so. And asking that people donate to. If you're looking for an org to donate to, it's the Black Mental Health Alliance. They're really, really incredible, and they help people of color. They help. Uh, they help. They help so much. They help to do a lot of therapeutic work around systemic oppression, and helping Black people become therapists, which is so necessary in general, but especially at this point in time. So check them out. I have linked them on the Doorway to Self page on Facebook, and on Instagram. I think there's a link in my bio. I'll have to check on that. Anyways, regardless, so that's a thing. The other things I want to tell you guys about, I want to remind you that the Journey Apprenticeship Program is open, is accepting applicants at this time. So if you are a practitioner who at this point in time, or you're wanting to become a practitioner who at this point in time is saying to yourself, oh my gosh, I need this. I need a mentorship of some type. I need to do the inner work on myself with everything that's going on, and I need a guide there to help me through it in order to continue to deepen my work with other people. Please check it out, doorwaytoself.com. I also put the link to the direct page with all of the info on it, and the application page at the top on Facebook. On Instagram, link is in my bio. So you can head over to my website, doorwaytoself.com, or click the link in my bio or the link at the top of this event, and it will guide you to that page, so you can check that out. I'm so thrilled at the two practitioners that I have worked with over the last two rounds of this, and the incredible work that both of them are putting forth right now. I'm just blown away and so, so grateful to what they're both doing right now, and also our work together in the time that we were working together in that capacity. And I can't wait. I can't wait to see who number 3 is. I really can't. I already feel ya. I know you're out there. I already feel you, and I can't wait to work with you. So if you think it's you, if it feels like you, please head over and apply. The other thing is the Door Openers group is still accepting participants as well. This is an energetic online support group. So if you're feeling extremely overwhelmed right now, if you're feeling like you need extra support, if you're feeling like you need a place for feeling some more inspiration, for having in-depth discussions with people to work through things, it is a 24/7 open portal on Facebook, and we meet every Thursday night on Zoom for a support group meeting, as well as 3 Tuesday evenings a month. 2 of them are discussion-based evenings, which has been really amazing. And we talk about any topics that the group votes on that they feel like they want to talk about. And then 1 Tuesday a month, the week of the full moon, we have a master class. So somebody from in the group volunteers to teach a master class. It is a donation-powered group, so I'm trying to make this extremely accessible to people. Please, 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 if you're needing support, find it, check it out. Link in bio on Instagram, and on Facebook I linked the page at the top. All you need to do is apply to join by answering the questions, and then you can head to donorbox.org/doorwaytoself to donate to become a part of the group. And that link is also on Facebook and in my bio on Instagram. Instagram's about to kick me off, so I love you guys. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day, and just please take care of yourself. Know that you're loved. Know that you're loved. If you're not already, follow me on Facebook, Dory to Self, Instagram at Dory to Self. Check out the website, dorytoself.com. Yada, yada, yada. Love, love, love. Love you guys. Take care.